Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PREPSOIL webinar, Tech Meets Earth. And today we'll be exploring soil health with the PREPSOIL mobile app. So the webinar will last for 1 hour, and during this hour, we will explore different functionalities of the mobile app, how it can support soil literacy, and different other opportunities that is offered by this digital asset. So while we are waiting for others to join for a couple of minutes, I ask you to download the app. So it can be downloaded both on Android and iPhones. You have these cute QR codes here on the right side. So please do it, and then we will dive into our agenda for today. By the way, you also should have the chat functionality in this webinar. So if you have any question, any issue with the downloads or any comment, please feel free to share all your thoughts there. And we will have also Q&A session in the end. So we'll try to address all your inquiries. And also, since every webinar is also a good opportunity to network, please share your name, which organization you're from, what you do, and what's your interest there in the chat, so we get to know better who is attending our webinar today. And I think we can slowly start. So going to our agenda, today we have different presentations by different partners from the PREPSOIL project, which is the project that is behind this digital assets of the PREPSOIL mobile app. And we will start with an introduction to the PREPSOIL project so that you have a better understanding of the consortium, of the objectives and the missions that PREPSOIL had for this past couple of years. Then we will dive into the mobile app. So I will provide you a short introduction to what you can do with the mobile app, how it can support the soil literacy and increase interest in soil issues, especially among citizens, among a younger public. And then we will see another tool for local engagement, which is the Living Labs map atlas that we have on the PREPSOIL website. And our colleague Isabelle Couture will provide you an introduction on that. Then we will have a short look at the soil quests. So we will present you also what a soil quest is. And just a spoiler, this is one of the main functionalities of the PREPSOIL mobile app. We will have some cases, specific cases of what you can do to this soil quest, what kind of engagement opportunities you can create with citizens. And then we'll have a look at the Knowledge Hub. So this is another tool developed by PREPSOIL. So as you can see, we have many tools for soil literacy, for engagement. So we are very glad to have this chance to present them to you today. And then we will have some brief guidelines of how you can get involved with us and a Q&A session. So having said this, I would like to pass the floor to Line Fries-Lindner from Aarhus University, which is the coordinator of the PREPSOIL project, who will provide you an introduction to the PREPSOIL project and its objectives and mission. Line, over to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so let me just give you a brief overview of the project and some of the many results that we already finalized. So just briefly to tell you that PREPSOIL is a CSA, so it's a support and coordination action funded under the Mission Soil, actually one of the first projects back in 2022. And our mission has been to facilitate the deployment of the Mission Soil across European regions through the creation and rollout of a number of tools and interaction spaces, also through knowledge sharing, and co-learning among many stakeholders to improve soil literacy and raise awareness. But also to take stock, see where we were at that time, and enter into dialogue with these many stakeholders to understand how soil needs can be assessed, supported by monitoring mechanisms, and that can lead then to action in living labs and lighthouses for soil health. Next slide, please. Yes, so as I said, PREPSOIL was funded through the first call for the Mission Soil in 2022. And the project has 20 partner organizations from 11 member states and one associated country, consisting of a variety of different organizations, multidisciplinary academic partners, but also umbrella organizations and multi-actor organizations. Next slide, please. Yes, so the project aims basically to reach impact through 3 different pathways. So one is to increase soil literacy and awareness and societal appreciation, and we do so by engaging with communities of practice. We've set up a space for knowledge sharing through the Knowledge Hub that I will talk about a little bit later. Also the mobile app, of course, and also by engaging into dialogue with teachers to collect teaching practices for soil health. A second impact pathway is to improve the knowledge base and the access to critical information, which we have aimed at achieving through so-called soil needs assessments and a number of activities to assess the feasibility of using different approaches supporting soil monitoring. And finally, the last impact we aim to achieve is to create interaction spaces for deployment of the mission. And here, PREPSOIL partners are working on setting up spaces for living lab and lighthouse development, especially supporting interaction and learning among them, and also supporting the setup of so-called mission mirror groups. So in the next slides, I'll go into a few more details with some of these impacts. So for the purpose of increasing soil literacy awareness and societal appreciation, partners have conducted a number of interviews with communities of practice. And that's communities of practice are local, regional movements, also grassroots organizations and civil society organizations. And through these interviews, we aim at raising awareness about the importance, so they talk about it, of healthy soil to society. Right now, we are almost at the 80 videos, so I really encourage you to go into our YouTube channel and view some of these. In addition, we've also had 2 rounds of open calls for best teaching practices, where primary and secondary school teachers have collected and submitted best practices and inspirational materials to these calls, but also in order to allow them and others to promote soil education, connect with each other, and learn from each other. Next slide, please. Yeah, through the second impact pathway, I will also mention a few of the results. So back in 2023, PREPSOIL partners ran a series of so-called soil needs assessments. So that was workshops and focus group interviews in order to identify the existing soil needs in 20 different and contrasting also regions in Europe. These regions represented main European pedoclimate zones and land uses. And so through a number of workshops and inviting a multitude of stakeholders, partners assessed the soil needs, the options to restore soil health, and also drivers for improving soil health at these land use levels in these different regions. The findings from these soil needs assessments are available in a really comprehensive report, but also in a booklet. You can see here the picture of the booklet and a soon to be available article. Beyond these soil needs assessments, partners have also carried out activities contributing to improving the knowledge base for the soil monitoring framework. And currently, our partners are working on identifying and fulfilling the capacity building needs of decision makers' knowledge base. Next, I will share a link to the next week. There will be a pilot trainings for this, and And also, partners have carried out a number of surveys and focus group interviews with relevant stakeholders, assessing and synthesizing training needs and needs for co-learning. And you will see a number of these publications here that you can find also on our website. Next slide, please. Yeah, and then as mentioned, we also focused our attention on setting up these interactive spaces through a variety of activities to foster stakeholder interaction and engagement, and also awareness raising activities. So one of these activities is the work that PREPSOIL has done to support the facilitation or establishment of mirror groups in the mission soil. And we've worked to gain better knowledge of the current situation regarding mirror groups establishment by building an overview of existing mirror groups. We've carried out a survey and also had interactions with a number of national delegations to understand the current organization and situation. Also to identify challenges for setting up such a mirror group. And next week on Monday, we're organizing a webinar to share these results from these interactions, and you're also very welcome to join this. I'll share also the link here towards the end. In addition to this, we've provided guidelines also for science policy interaction and best of practice methods for science policy interfaces. And a large part of the work done by PREPSOIL is to support living labs and lighthouses. And I know Isabel will talk more about this. I just want to highlight that PREPSOIL has developed an interactive map of living labs and lighthouses in Europe to foster engagement and interaction among them. Partners have also developed a toolbox for soil living lab growth, which consists of tools and resources that was also co-designed and validated by soil-related living lab and lighthouse initiatives. And finally, partners have developed a business model canvas for living labs to support them in clearly communicating their value propositions. Last slide, please. So all these results and outputs and tools, they are available on our website, and I encourage you to go visit it. And as I said, also, you're very welcome to join our upcoming events, as I said, on Monday on mirror groups, and also next week and the next week after on the pilot training course on supporting capacity building. Yeah, so with this, I'll pass on to you, Valeria.
Thank you a lot, Lina. Thank you. So yes, make sure to register for these next events. You can find them on our website. And now let me just give you a short overview of the mobile app. The mobile app is the reason why we organized this webinar. And just to introduce you a bit on what was our initial goal when we started creating the mobile app. So the initial objective was to facilitate, on one side, citizen science, citizen contributions to scientific research and to general awareness to soil health and soil issues. And to do that, we actually leveraged soil observation. Soil observation as a method to actually increase engagement in a very apologies, in a very in a very easy and friendly way to to actually learn about soil. So the mobile app provides different functionalities, starting from the Knowledge Hub, the PREPSOIL TV, the Living Labs and Lighthouses map, and different other tools that make it engaging to learn about soil, that's engaging to actually spread awareness and dive into these topics that might be very research oriented. Apologies. So on this link, you can find again more information about the mobile app, on how it was created, and the links to download it, as I mentioned before, on Android or on iPhones. So as mentioned before, there are these different opportunities that are offered through the mobile app, but the central goal was to actually provide this one engagement method, which is the Soil Quest, which gives this opportunity to organizations, universities, living labs, lighthouses, to create a quest through the mobile app and ask citizens to actually share some information. It can be information on, here we made some examples on levels of soil erosion, but this might be a bit difficult, but some other, for example, information on soil in the region, some issues that they see with soil in the region. So something they can actually monitor in around their cities and then share with scientists these insights. It can be also a picture that they can attach on soil matter. And all of this is done through Soil Quests. So we actually create this channel of communication between research, scientists, academia, and the citizens. Among other opportunities offered on the PREPSOIL mobile app, it is also possible to explore resources through the Knowledge Hub, and we will hear about it a bit later, to discover some videos, interviews, and recordings about communities of practices in our PREPSOIL TV. So please go to our website to check what does it offer, and also browse the Living Labs and Lighthouses map. And with this, I would like to pass the floor to Isabel from Enol, who will provide you more details on what this map actually offers. Isabel, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valeria. So if we go to the next slide, please. Yes, so I wanted to kick things off by beginning to highlight the importance of aligning our language, particularly when it comes to living labs. So while definitions may have used, different definitions have been used over the years, alignment was really achieved with the European Network of Living Labs that developed a definition for general all living labs, which was then adopted and expanded by the European Commission to create this really thorough and clear definition for soil health living labs, which is defined as user-centered, place-based, and transdisciplinary research and innovation ecosystems, which involve land managers, scientists, and other relevant partners in systemic research and co-design, testing, monitoring, and evaluation of solutions in real-life settings to improve their effectiveness for soil health and accelerate adoption. So it's really important to, to explain this thorough definition around soil health living labs and to highlight that there are several core concepts that are common across the definitions. And these include the multi-stakeholders aspects, where here we're talking about, yes, the quadruple helix model, which brings together different sectors, specifically academia, industry, government, and civil society. We're also, again, speaking of user-centered, meaning that the living labs don't just develop solutions for users, they co-design and test with them. And they operate in real-life environments. So everything is tested in actual field conditions and not controlled environments or labs. And they are over several sites. So these labs operate across diverse local contexts, whether they are farms, forest, urban areas, at both regional and sub-regional scales too. So this shared definition doesn't just help us unify our language, it really lays the then foundation for our actions together. So it was important to first align on language and to clearly define what soil health living labs are before I then introduce the maps of living labs and lighthouse initiatives. So if we can go please to the next slide. So yes, now that we've defined what soil health living labs and lighthouse initiatives are, I'd like to introduce a key tool that helps bring them into focus, which is the PREPSOIL interactive map available through the app. The map currently features around 170 living labs, lighthouses, initiatives, and experimentation sites that are really actively working to improve soil health in their communities, in their regions. The map offers a clear visual overview of the real world efforts happening across the different areas or land uses, like I said, the farms, the forests, the cities, and more. So how does the map can help you? It does so in various ways. First, it increases visibility. So many of these initiatives are already doing important work, but they haven't always been easy to find. So the map brings them together in one easy to find location, making their efforts even more accessible for you to find them and connect. Second, it supports partnerships, of course, whether you are a living lab manager or a researcher, land manager, or even a policymaker, the map will help you connect with others working in, of course, similar areas or facing similar challenges. And finally, it does help build regional project consortia by showing where the activity is happening. The map helps identify opportunities to form new collaboration to meet the local needs within your region. So in short, the PREPSOIL map is more than a list of projects. It really is a tool for connection, collaboration, and action, helping grow the soil health community across the European continent. And with that, we can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So yes, as I wrap up my section, I did want to leave you with a very clear message that although the PREPSOIL project is ending this month, the work it started is very much continuing. It very much so lives on beyond the project lifespan. With the PREPSOIL map, we've built a very strong base for supporting local action, encouraging collaboration, but also making soil health efforts more visible across Europe. So while now registrations to the PREPSOIL map have closed, the tools developed in PREPSOIL will remain valuable, timely, and accessible to use. So that most importantly, these resources, they won't just stay as they are, they will actually be taken forward and further developed under the Soil Framework Partnership Agreement. And in this next phase, it will build on what PREPSOIL started with new projects helping to expand and strengthen the Living Lab ecosystem across the different regions. And that includes the map. So that stay tuned for further updates for registrations to reopen under soil so that you can continue to express interest and sign on if you haven't had a chance to do it through PREPSOIL. But the PREPSOIL map will live on and be accessible for you to connect with the existing already mapped initiatives. So in conclusion, this actually isn't a conclusion, it's really a transition. So PREPSOIL has set the stage for the broader movement, and now the next wave of work is ready to be carried forward. So thank you very much for your attention. I'll pass it back to Valeria.
Thank you, Isabel. Thank you for this information. So let's continue now with the exploration of the soil quest. So this is the big feature we mentioned earlier on how to actually increase engagement and connect academia and research with citizens. So today we'll have 3 practical examples of some quests that have been actually proposed by our partners in PREPSOIL that are already actually available on the PREPSOIL mobile app. So if you download it, you will see this section soil quests, and you can see these quests there, which means that any citizen can actually answer to them and share their insights. So today we'll have the presentations by Agnese Boccalon from ICR Plus on cases of soil sealing in the cities, Caterina Capri from Rensoil Foundation on the vulnerability to desertification in Italian regions, and then from Maite Gallego from Fundesit PCTEX on the insights on the soils of the Dehesa. So without further ado, let's look at these soil quests, and with this I will pass the floor to Agnese.
Thanks, Valeria, and good afternoon, everyone. So I will present the first quest that we formulated, which we called the case of soil sealing in your city. And before exploring the quest, maybe a bit of background on why we decided to include soil sealing as one of the interactive moments through this app. So according to the definition of the European Environmental Agency, soil sealing is the destruction or covering of the ground by an impermeable layer. And as a direct effect of the complete cover of soils by impermeable layers, we have a loss of soil, first of all, of soil biodiversity, and also of the biological function of the soils and of the biodiversity that exists on top of the soils. So we thought it was important to address this issue through one of the quests. Also, considering that soil sealing is one of limiting soil sealing, and land take is one of the objectives, one of the 8 objectives of the EU soil mission. And there have been recent publication by the European Environmental Agency with the 2023 soil monitoring report, where data exists on the level of soil sealing across Europe, continental Europe, geographical Europe. And for the year 2018, the result is that about 2.7% of all EU countries' land is sealed. And to give you an idea, this surface is equivalent to about 5 times the size of a country like Slovenia. And we have a slowly increasing trend in land take and soil sealing. And this is occurring when we have a lot of urban areas which are actually unused, but they are sealed. So we thought that it would have been interesting for cities to raise awareness among citizens about the challenges that continuing in the sealing trend brings at urban and peri-urban level, but also in rural areas where there are urban settlements. And for this reason, we thought to promote the identification of soil sealings in your region, in your city, through the app. And the way it works is that once you connect to the app, you are already geo-referenced. So you can select the country where you are connecting from and the municipality within the country where you are connecting from. And then what we ask for is that to report on urban features that you saw where sealing either has recently occurred or is in places where it used not to be the soil used not to be sealed. And this is 2 ways. I mean, on one hand, we report what is being done that could be done in a different way, but at the same time is also a way to identify measures of soil use in urban areas that have taken permeability into account and that have used materials that are permeable and that allow for permeability, development of the soil function, water retention function, and so on. So if you surf through the app, you can already see some cases that have been reported, and the idea is that to raise awareness on this challenge that we are facing in urban areas, but also on the alternatives that exist for facilitating the soil function, and in this case, avoid sealing soils. So this is a bit of the overview on the app, and I'll pass on to my colleague.
Thank you, Agnese, thank you. And now let's have a look at another soil quest with Caterina on the vulnerability to soil desertification in Italy.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Valeria. As Valeria just said, my cast was and still is about soil desertification in Italy, which is something we are like step by step and slowly familiarizing with, unfortunately. But so my idea was just trying to increase consciousness and raise awareness on this topic because, you know, desertification is really happening in Italy, especially in areas such as southern Italy, such as Calabria and Puglia. And Italy overall happens to be one of the most vulnerable countries in Europe to desertification, which at the end, desertification is a process where fertile land becomes arid, degraded, and less productive. So when when I was thinking about this cast, I was asking myself, as you also read here, why is it important to have this kind of research, right? And research question and trying to like answer this quest. Why should this be important? And as you can see here below, there's several factors that are impacted by desertification, such as, for example, food security, biodiversity loss, water issues, and also many socio-economic impacts as well. So, like we I would like to for like all of us to look at this cast as something that could actually help to create a sort of like of map of zones at risk or already facing desertification and understanding how much should we prioritize this kind of problem and issue in Italy in this case, but overall in different places all over Europe, and also prioritize actions and that way supporting EU targets and the agenda for sustainable development. So how can we contribute to the quest? Well, at the beginning, I was just thinking about also just sharing photos and additional information regarding this topic. So eventually adding more like information and connecting with different people. But overall, I think that just having photos and information about a specific location that looks like is going towards such a situation, so as desertification or already facing such a situation, could be interesting and useful to have an overview of Italian situation and context. So yeah, that's pretty much it from my side. Thank you, Valeria.
Thank you a lot, Katarina. Really interesting soil quest. So please have a look at it also on the mobile app. And then I would like to pass the floor to Maite to have a look at another soil quest, the third one on the soils of the Dehesa. Maite, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Valeria. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Maite Gallego, and I work for Fundecid, Scientific and Technological Park of Extremadura. I will talk to you about the soil quest number 3, insight on the soil of the Dehesa. But first, and in order to contextualize this type of soils and put you in the picture, let me first comment that the Dehesa is an agroforestry unique ecosystem in Spain and Portugal. It is composed by scattered oak trees and pastures extensively grazed by autonomous livestock like pigs, cows, and sheep. And it is also part of the cultural legacy of Extremadura region. On the other hand, The DESA soils were selected by the PREPSOIL project, as Line commented in her intervention at the beginning of this workshop. It was selected among the 20 soil types among Europe to be assessed. So now, and about the soil quest itself, the why we selected this or proposed this soil quest, bearing in mind this is a cross-border issue, we understood it could be very interesting really to know about the two countries' different inputs. Like, for example, different soil care activities, the different stakeholder engagement, collaborative activities, or even the different support policies each country applied to this type of soils. On the other hand, and as a previous work was developed with the DESA workshop, we wanted to obtain further insights and guarantee like a continuity of the work already carried out. And now, how can we contribute? Apart of what my colleagues already said, we can contribute really in a very easy and friendly way by sharing pictures, by sharing videos of in our case, about the soils, the livestock, the oak trees, the agricultural works, but also sharing identified threats and possible solution, and asking for the others' solutions and threats. In a way, we can all learn each from the other. And also, we can contribute by creating national, regional, or even international connections and communities. And why it is important? Why it is important for us to present a quest like this? The DESA soils are facing many challenges that need of an urgent intervention, overcoming land mismanagement practices that provoke soil degradation, harmful effects of climate change, rural depopulation, etc., as many others. In this sense, we truly believe that counting with the collaboration and information of the whole society, including citizens, but also research centers, private and public, and even the municipalities maybe, that will help to find collaborative and accurate responses. To finish, I would like to share with you a sentence I really apply to different situations of my personal and professional life, and I think it matched very well with this PREPSOIL mobile app. Individually, we are a wall, but together we are more. Thank you, and I pass the floor again to Valeria.
Thank you, Maite. Yeah, I also agree. This is a very, very nice sentence. Also summarizes very well the quest and everything we presented today and the work done in PREPSOIL. So thank you. And so with this, as you have seen just now, these examples of soil quests that already exist actually in the mobile app that citizens can already answer to. So with this, we would like also to invite you, your organizations, your universities, to also think about a soil quest, something you can actually ask citizens to contribute to. As you can see, it might be a request for information or a picture on a specific topic that is relevant for your region. Or also you can share them to then incentivize people and students, citizens, just to answer them and learn more about soils. So with this, I would like to then continue this webinar with another overview, very short one, of another digital asset that has been developed within PREPSOIL, which is the Knowledge Hub. And I will pass the floor to Line from Aarhus University, who will shortly present you this very, very nice tool for soil literacy.
Thank you, Valeria. Yes, so as I mentioned in the beginning, we have developed the Knowledge Hub within the project as a tool for knowledge sharing and also for improving access to knowledge on soils. So the Knowledge Hub, it's an online catalog of soil resources, and it includes a variety of resources from documents, videos, web pages, also audio files, infographics, and also presentations, like an open library for soil. So currently the Knowledge Hub hosts almost 300 resources in 13 different European languages. And basically we developed the Knowledge Hub or designed it to serve a variety of stakeholders, so from local, regional to national stakeholders, and including a variety also from land users to advisors, teachers, trainers, researchers, but also communities and citizens. And therefore, the Knowledge Hub contains all kinds of what we call soft material in any format in any European language. And by sharing your own resources, best practices, reports, training materials with others, you may inspire, but also be inspired and connect with other actors. That was the whole reasoning behind setting it up. So while you can use it as a library, you can browse, you can search for specific resources, you can also contribute to its growth. And so as it's an open resource, any organization or academic institution or individual, as I said, can add resources. And by submitting a resource, you will, on the one hand, boost discoverability of your resources as you will reach, hopefully, a broad audience, but it will also increase visibility of your resources. And that's because all resources maintain their original hosting. So you link to where your resources are stored, for instance, on your own library or your Zenodo. And then when users click the resource, they are directed back to your platform and original resources, and thereby increasing the visibility of your resources and eventually your work. So if you have a report or a video, as I said, on a persistent repository like Zenodo, or a video on YouTube or a best practice that you've published in any other location, you can easily suggest it to the Knowledge Hub by submitting the link and then selecting the relevant categories as annotation or keywords. That will enable, if you complete the metadata as detailed as possible, the more valuable your resource is to others and the more easy it will be to find it also and to use it again eventually. After resources that are then submitted, we have an editorial board that consists of project partners that checks every single incoming resource to ensure that the resources are curated, and that they are published and easily findable. So I just would like to encourage you to scan the QR code on the top right and go check out the Knowledge Hub. As I said, you can browse through, you can search for specific ones, you can submit your own. And currently it has been fed with many of the resources from PREPSOIL, but also resources originating and made by many of the stakeholders we have been working with throughout the past years. So with many of the communities of practice from different organizations, also from citizens or citizen organizations, researchers, authorities that have developed really valuable and highly relevant resources on soil in many languages. So with this, I pass back to you, Valeria.
Thank you, Line. Thank you. Yes, so please go have a look at the Knowledge Hub, find your resources, and suggest also more so that we have bigger library. So yes, you can have access to our website, to this QR code. Please scan it now so you can find more information about all the different materials and tools that were presented today. And also right now we would like to give you some space for some questions that you might have. So please, if you have, write them in the chat and we will address them now together with our speakers. And in the meantime, while we're waiting for some questions, I would like to also invite you to a training needs assessment for soil health management survey that we have just launched on our website. You can access it through this QR code. And this consultation aims to identify priority training needs in two areas, which is general soil health management and the transposition and implementation of the Soil Monitoring and Resilience Directive into national frameworks. So please take just a bit of your time. It will be a very valuable contribution for us if we can collect more insights thanks to you. So if you have some time, please do that. So I see there are no questions in the chat. In case you will have some questions also in the future regarding any of the tools, regarding any of the outputs released by PREPSOIL, please do not hesitate to contact us through our website in the Contact Us form that we have there, and we will be happy to address all your questions. So thank you a lot. And with this, we would like to just say goodbye. And as I said, please don't hesitate to contact us.